Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ready to explore some seriously fascinating text?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
We're tackling Genesis 15 today. It's jam-packed with divine promises, a good dose of human skepticism, and even a glimpse into the future.
It's a pivotal chapter.
Right. It really sets the stage, you know.
Sure.
Okay, so we start with God reassuring Abram, who we know later becomes Abraham, that he'll be the father of, like, this massive nation. But get this, Abram is seriously doubtful.
Ironic, isn't it, given that he becomes known as the father of many nations?
Yeah, kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But in this moment, why is he so hesitant?
Well, think about it. Here's Abram, chosen for this incredible destiny, but he's still human, you know? He's looking around, he's childless, and naturally assumes his servant Eliezer is next in line to inherit.
He's going by what he sees in that moment.
Exactly. It reminds us that even the most faithful can get caught up in the here and now.
It's that tension, right, between the promise and what's right in front of you. Everyone's been there.
Definitely. But then God steps in, and wow, does he ever. He says to Abram, and I'm paraphrasing here, "Look at the stars, Abram. Can you even count them? That's how many descendants you'll have."
Can you imagine being Abram, just like completely floored? Your doubt would seem pretty small.
I know, right? What a way to drive the point home.
Totally. But why use the stars as the example? What's the deeper meaning there?
Well, since, like, forever, the cosmos have represented something way bigger than us, something divine. It's like God saying, Abram, your legacy, it'll be as countless as the stars themselves, everlasting.
Okay, chills.
Yeah.
That definitely puts things into perspective. But then the chapter takes this sharp turn. Suddenly we're in this super intense scene with a covenant ceremony, and it involves animal sacrifices.
It's heavy stuff.
Really heavy, like they cut animals in half. What's the significance of all this?
You got to remember, covenants in the ancient world, those were serious business.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a handshake deal here, right?
Right.
This is a binding contract, and often sealed with blood rituals. It was the most serious, most binding way to make a promise.
Makes sense. So by dividing the animals, it represents this shared commitment.
Exactly. And, of course, it highlights how bad the consequences would be if one side breaks the deal.
And what about those birds of prey mentioned in the text? They seem to be circling, like, ominously.
Oh, yeah, those birds of prey. They're probably symbolic of the threats that might pop up, reminding everyone that the journey ahead won't be a walk in the park, even with a divine promise.
That's a powerful image.
Right.
And even with this powerful covenant, there's also a prophecy. It says that Abram's descendants will go through some really hard times, living as foreigners in a new land for centuries. What's the weight of this prophecy, especially when we look at the whole Bible?
Well, it foreshadows the Israelites' enslavement in Egypt. It's like a sneak peek into the future, woven right into this covenant.
It sets the stage for what's to come.
Definitely. It also shows us a recurring theme we see throughout the Bible, the cycle of suffering and ultimately deliverance.
A reminder that promises don't equal an easy life.
For sure. Promises can take us right through the fire.
And speaking of fire, the chapter ends with, well, more fire. A smoking furnace and a flaming torch appear. Wow.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to understand that kind of imagery?
Well, fire.
Oh.
It's got multiple meanings, right? It can mean purification, but it can also mean judgment. In this case, I think it represents both.
Both sides of the same coin.
Exactly. So on one hand, it's a warning. If you break the covenant, there will be consequences. But it's also this powerful symbol of God's presence sealing and protecting this agreement.
God is serious, but also faithful.
Absolutely.
And as if that wasn't enough, the chapter ends by outlining this promised land. But it quickly becomes clear that it's not just some empty piece of land, right?
Oh, no, not at all. There are already tons of different groups of people living there.
The text mentions quite a few. It makes it clear that actually claiming this land isn't going to be simple.
Not at all. It really highlights how complex things are. This isn't just about strolling into an empty land. This sets the stage for conflict, for a real struggle to claim and settle this land.
This deep dive has been amazing. We've gone from promises and doubts to vivid imagery and a glimpse into the future. It really makes you think, like, what does it truly mean for a promise to be unbreakable? And how do we face the unknown, even when we're trying to follow our faith?
Such good questions. Genesis 15 reminds us that even those given the biggest, most life-altering promises, like Abram, still have doubts. It's human. But more than that, I think this chapter encourages us to look beyond what's right in front of us. It encourages us to trust that something much bigger is unfolding, something with both incredible challenges and blessings.
It's a good reminder that the journey matters as much as the destination.